Welcome to a Hobby Positive review. Today we're reviewing Escape the Dark Castle. Now, Escape the Dark Castle is a game played with cards. You select 15 cards and a boss card and an opening card, and you're attempting to leave the Dark Castle, hence the name. You turn the cards over and you have to fulfill the requirement on that card in order to move to the next card. Complete all 15 cards and then you face the boss. Defeat the boss and you've successfully escaped. Now, it comes with characters that you play, each with their own dice. Now, each character has varying different levels of cunning, might and wisdom, and that's represented on their die. Combat is really simple. All you're going to be doing is rolling dice for the character and then trying to match the dice to the enemy. Successfully match the dice, then you knock those dice away from the enemy character and you win combat. It's not quite that simple though. You have very limited life and it's quite easy to lose some of it depending on your dice rolls and how lucky you are. There are power-ups and bonuses that you can get that restore life or give you extra damage. Now, it's a game that can be played solo or with up to 4 players. We're playing with the collector's box, which comes with these lovely little metal skulls that you can use as a life tracker. Ordinarily, you would get pencil and paper to do it, which is absolutely fine. Now, there's a few expansions available, as well as a Kickstarter dice. This game was sent to me very kindly by Themeborne. Now, if you want to know more about the game, you can go to their website, which we'll put a link in the description, or you can just head to themeborne.com straight away. So myself and friends, we sat down and we played a game or two of Escape the Dark Castle, and then we just recorded our honest thoughts and feedback on the game. I am also going to be giving away a copy of Escape the Dark Castle, the standalone game, as well as the Kickstarter dice, where you get the golden axe weapon, which is quite powerful. So if you want to be in with a chance of winning, all you have to do is like the reel on Instagram and then reply. Now, I want to hear your best responses to "I escaped the Dark Castle," and then just give me your best response, and I'll pick the best and most funniest response, okay? Without further ado, let's get into the review. So here we are. Everybody here has been playing a game or two of Escape the Dark Castle. So here we've got Guy.
Yo.
We have Hattie.
Hello.
We also have Steve.
Hello.
And an extra special guest, we have Helen.
Hello.
That's my wife.
My wife. Right, okay, so we've been playing Escape the Dark Castle, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. So first off, I'm going to ask you, what did you feel about the aesthetic and the presentation? What was it like? Steve?
I really like it. I thought the whole black and white nature of it was really stylised. It's very very recognisable. Really enjoyed it. It reminded me very much of like the Choose Your Own Adventure books I used to read as a kid. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I really like the kind of the simple aesthetic as well, and the nature of the kind of the illustrations as well. They all kind of fit the overall vibe and they match the black and white kind of tonal nature of it as well.
Yeah, it was really consistent across everything. Like in other games like Magic or anything like that, the artwork is very hit and miss and a bit kind of patchy, whereas this was very consistent throughout. It's nice. I like the hand drawn. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, styling. Fuck, I can't even say words. I've been silent for so long.
Did it hurt?
Stylistically, it's great. Yeah, it's like very identifiably it. Some of the cards, like the pictures, are awesome. Some of them, like I sort of joked about a couple, they look a little bit rushed. But overall, it's great. I think it suits it really well. Yeah, I feel like just generally like stylistically it maybe lacks a little bit of whimsy that might make it more appealing to some people. It is very dark. I mean, the clue's in the name, right? It's very dark and somber vibe Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I always find though that you can kind of inject a little bit of humour into reading some of the text as well. But I agree, it's got that flavour to it, which is it's dark, it's supposed to be, and the black and white kind of nature of the illustrations as well just kind of emphasise that. I really like the dice. Has anyone ever mentioned the dice yet?
Yeah. I love the dice. I love rolling dice, and those dice they feel great. They're really good. Yeah, I the only thing that kind of put me off at the beginning was that they're dice that are very specific to the game. You couldn't use them in anything else, and that usually turns me off of games like that. But no, they're great. They feel great to roll. Everything feels really good quality. I enjoyed it.
The only thing that would concern me about having like a specific die for each character is that if you do accidentally lose one,
yeah, or your kids get into the box and turn the box over.
Yeah, you're in a bit of a pickle.
I mean, it was a nice day today, and we played the game outside on decking. And every time the dice kind of rolled off, I always thought, "Is this the moment it's going to get lost?" So I totally hear you on that one. Hattie, what do you think? Just describe to me the vibe, the overall kind of general vibe of the game.
I'd say it's spooky. It reminds me of sort of a old-timey vampire-y castle. I would agree in that it's not particularly whimsical or funny, but that's fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be.
Yeah.
I like the spooky ookiness of it.
Yeah, and it is kind of spooky. Is the whole kind of setting is it's a dark castle. You've got kind of skeletons and monsters in there as well, so it kind of fits that. Kind of general trope, I suppose, of fantasy.
Yeah.
Now, having played it for the first time, some of you, Helen, I'd really like to know, kind of, in terms of kind of setting it up and how easy is it to play. What do you feel?
It was fun. It was pretty simple once it'd been explained. It was good to use the skulls down on the health points. We know how many lives you got. Yeah, it's quite easy to follow. And didn't feel too complicated.
Yeah. After a few of the chapter cards, was it all kind of making sense after you've gone through a few of the battles?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, and the item cards were good because got to use extra things to battle with.
Yeah. Keeps it quite simple, only having like 2 item cards rather than some games where you have a whole plethora, a handful of cards that you then got to pick one for a particular situation, I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
And could anybody explain here? Now I'm interested. What's your kind of take on the core mechanics of the game? What is it? What is it about, really?
The core mechanics of the game is dice rolling. It's a dice rolling game, but I feel like it works really well because all you're essentially doing is trying to match and defeat the dice that are rolled by your opponents, but you do it together as a team. And obviously each player has their own different strengths. So there is a bit of teamwork involved, how to use your items and like dice rolls to get the results that you want. So there is, it's not just a case of, if you start playing, you're just going to have the same game over and over again. The more you kind of work with other players, the more you can, master it essentially. So I think there is still like a little bit of a learning curve. But it's very approachable for new players as well. But I could imagine you could play it over and over again and still have good fun.
The fact the core mechanic is repeated just consistently all the time, it doesn't really change dramatically, that just makes it very easy to pick up and easy, I imagine, to drop in and out of the game. If you haven't played it in a couple of months, you come back to it, you pick it up and go, oh yeah, this is how it works, off we go.
I like the replayability doesn't come from the fact that you've got to learn and master it and kind of learn new rules.
No.
It's just the replayability comes from...
The randomisation of the story and the cards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, totally. What are you laughing about?
Trying to put my glasses on. Put them on so wonky.
You put them on one key.
You absolutely ruined that. Ruined that for everyone.
So for me, the core mechanics there are storytelling. I really like the storytelling aspect of it, and that you're flipping the cards over and you're only dealing with one card at a time as well. And it's quite simple to actually grasp what do you need to do. And you're doing it cooperatively as well. And you can all kind of share the resources and mix them around each other. So I really like that kind of storytelling aspect of it. And I think that's a big core part of the game, is making it easy to tell stories and actually join together in those stories, cooperate with those stories, and be, equally part of its success or failure.
Yeah. I mean, slightly counter to that.
Please
It's quite enjoyable in a lot of games where you have a little bit of an opportunity to dick over one of your friends.
Yeah.
Why did you look straight at me when you said that?
I mean, yeah. and there isn't, I mean, even in like things like Hero Quest, which we play quite often, that is ample opportunity to dick over your friends there. But here, there wasn't any of that. Which I only just
the
thought
incentive
of now.
isn't there at all, because if
No.
one person dies, then everyone dies. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it forces everyone, I don't think overtly, but quite subtly, to work together as a team.
Just using Hero Quest, That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing where it's like, oh no, you died.
Now
What
I
a
take all
shame.
your gold.
Now I have all your treasure. Yeah.
And it's cooperative, and it's purposely cooperative. You can't play it any other way, really. Because like you say, Guy, as soon as one person dies, you all die. You lose.
You get nothing.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir. Absolutely. So I'm interested. We played a couple games. The first game that we played, we picked our own players. And that kind of felt really easy because we mixed up the players so we had an equal balance of all the different skills.
Yeah, we deliberately balanced all of the skill set, which I think gives you a leg up. You don't realise it, I don't think, until you play it when you don't do that.
Yeah. But the second time, it was a random draw, wasn't
Yeah.
it? The characters. Probably created a bit more variability. It was a bit more of a challenge.
Definitely.
It definitely didn't end in success.
Nearly did. Very nearly did.
Very nearly.
We were lacking wisdom from our collective stats.
From our
Those-
friend group.
Yeah.
We have no wisdom.
Yeah.
But I suppose it could be made easier or harder using that kind of mechanic, I suppose. So after playing, what was the best part? I'm going to go around to all of you, and I'm looking at you, Helen, right away, so I'm going to go to you first. What's the best part for you around that game?
Right, the skulls. I like the black skulls.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're quite
just really
nice,
nice
aren't
to
they?
hold.
They are. They're quite weighty.
They're weighty.
And-
They're well made. Like a skull.
Just like a skull, but tiny and made of metal.
Yeah,
Excellent.
definitely.
No, that's good.
You like what you like.
Yeah, exactly. Steve.
I've kind of doubled down on the quality thing. I really like everything's just, it's made really nicely. Everything just feels really good in hand. But also I do like the core mechanic. The whole knocking one dice off and matching them and knocking them out. I think that's, I really like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think it's really good.
Guy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Steve on that. I feel like it's almost the kind of thing you could teach a kid, pretty young kid, to play that, 5, 6 almost. Because you're not even counting pips on a dice. You're just matching the symbols. Yeah, it's very easy to learn, friendly for all. It's just easy to learn and friendly for all.
Friendly for all.
There you go. I'll just say it like I wasn't about to say something else. And I like turtles.
Do you feel it makes it more accessible because you're not using dice with pips on, 6-sided dice or 20-sided dice?
It makes it feel like a more unique game, for sure.
Yeah,
It's not just
definitely.
you need to roll a 2 or a 1 or a 4,
I mean, the mechanic is still the same.
Yeah.
You're still rolling dice and looking at what's on them.
I guess there are 3 symbols though, aren't there?
Yeah.
So you
It's
don't.
definitely easier than counting all of the little dots,
Yeah.
but it is still rolling dice.
But yeah, with every dice being individual to the player character, it then changes things up a
Yeah,
bit,
that's
which
quite
is
fun.
that's another kind of fun element that I don't think I've seen in other games.
So your favourite bit, Hattie?
I also like the black skulls.
It's interesting, isn't it?
They're just so nice.
They are nice to hold.
They're nice and smooth and like a little bit weighty and just lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like trinkets.
I do like a trinket.
But it's.
I also like how. Sorry.
No, go on.
I also like that. I have forgotten what I was going to say immediately.
I like that.
Yeah, I know. I know. We all like that. I was gonna talk about how easy it was, but then I feel like you've already covered that.
No, that's a valid thing for you to say because you're not
Okay.
really a dice game person.
Yeah, I'll say that then.
So just how easy it is to play.
Yeah. Yeah, I also like that it's not gonna take me, 5 hours to learn how to play it and then 5 hours to get through a game.
It's pretty quick, isn't it? How long do you think?
Yeah.
How long do you think?
You could rattle through it in like half an hour. I think.
Yeah.
If
I
you know
feel,
what you're
I feel
doing,
half
yeah.
an hour's the number, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like prep. There's no list building. There's
Yeah.
no like mustering your armies.
Yeah,
No,
it's
just-
not crunchy.
No.
Yeah, it's really pick up and play. You just kind of you shuffle some cards. You deal out 15 of the chapter cards. You pick a boss card. You pick a starting card. You pick your character, and then away you go. Really. And it's physical. I really like the fact that it's physical. It's what you see out there is basically what is happening. It's not kind of hidden away on pencil and paper or hidden from other players. Like if you were to hold a hand of cards,
Yeah.
everything is
Yeah.
visible.
I feel like the game also, the dice mechanic and the 3 stats element could be expanded and used for another kind of game, like not just an expansion of that game where you're like doing more levels, but you could port that into something else. Do you know what I mean?
Not really.
Oh, where you have to like match the dice that are rolled to
Oh yeah,
defeat them essentially.
it's kind of
That's all I mean.
the last version of Kill Team is something like that, where you choose which dice to actually knock other dice out on. I think Blackstone Fortress was very much like that as
A little
well.
bit, yeah.
So and that used pictures rather than dice numbers. So again, a very physical game. Just going on to kind of, we've played a bit, said what we like. Who do you think this game is for? Who's going to enjoy it?
I think it's probably the same kind of people that were sat around the table. I think it's this age group, kind of, maybe not quite as young as Hattie.
Three-fifths of the people around the table are middle-aged white men.
Well,
Yeah, if you've got
Middle-aged.
if you've
How
got
dare you? How dare you, old man?
if you've got glasses,
You're
facial
35.
hair,
You're middle-aged.
you're good. Yeah, I do think there's that bit of nostalgia for me of the as I said before, like the pick your own adventure books, and I feel like they weren't read by people 10 years ago. They were read by people like me 30 years ago. So that, yeah, I think so. And I think maybe even people that are kind of D&D curious, or even people that do play D&D and want to have a quick warm-up before they like do a one-shot or something like that. Yeah, that's who I feel it. I don't know if that's who it was written for, but I think that's probably the kind of person that would pick it up.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Helen?
I don't think someone looking for a family board game would pick it up, but I think someone that's curious about, darker stories.
Do you have any friends or family members that would actually enjoy this kind of thing?
Oh, my cousin Jack
Yeah,
might play it with his friends, yeah.
Amy and Luke.
Amy and Luke, yeah, they like darker games and Yeah, I think so.
Is it something you take around to a friend's house for a party or
Depends
anything?
on the friends. I don't know if I would take it. Well, my friends that don't particularly like darker games,
No.
that want to just play Monopoly, but
Monopoly can get pretty dark.
It sounds like they need adult Uno.
God, no. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be reviewing that one.
No.
That's off the list. Guy, who do you think this is for? Who would enjoy playing this game?
I don't know. I think you were being a bit harsh on the age range there. I can see most people enjoying this. Like, there's no need to put an age range on it.
No.
I think you could play this quite easily with like an 8-year-old, all the way through an 80-year-old. I should say that on the box.
I think so too.
Oh, sorry for gatekeeping.
Yeah.
If you don't look like me, you can't play.
I think it was more like the game group that you were getting at, though, wasn't it? Like some
Yeah.
friends that just want to kind of pick up and play a game. You don't really need too much complexity with it. Hopefully, it shouldn't draw out too many size when you start setting up the game. Like some,
Yeah.
I know I've whipped out Bloodborne before the board game.
There's just a couple of counters. There's a few counters on that.
It's a bit heavy in comparison to this. I would say it's a bit heavy in comparison.
Also, 2, 3, or 4 players, right?
You can play it solo.
You can play it solo.
Yeah, you can play it solo.
Is that why the HP goes up to 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to play it with 2 characters though, so you can't just play it with
Oh,
one.
okay.
You have to play it 2,
Okay.
but you're controlling 2, which is a nice little neat touch when you just want to kind of have a practice game or run through, see how far you can get.
Or if you want to learn it to teach it to others. I
Yeah,
suppose.
totally. Yeah. I think you're a bit of a disadvantage if you are playing solo though. I think, as we were saying, 4 players probably feels like a good number,
Yeah, that's the optimal, it seems like.
but from 1 to 4 players.
I hope the microphones are catching up. Hattie sniggering, as you said, a disadvantage to playing solo.
No, I didn't actually hear it. I can hear the trucks going past.
I'm very sneaky.
So, who do you think this is for, Hattie?
I'd say people who are familiar with board games already. People who are up for a story-based board game in particular.
Sorry,
I can actually hear him.
I just decided to breathe incredibly loud. It's like Darth Vadering over in the corner.
It's real not happy.
can't help it.
Oh,
He's not happy
baby.
about us being in the same room as him.
Hector is a dog, not a child, by the way. Just need to make that clear. He's a dog.
Very fluffy dog.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I probably wouldn't whip this out in front of my nan.
I would.
Well, my nan's dead for a start. Playing solo.
Stand by my words.
Yeah, it wouldn't be sort of, something people like my in-laws that perhaps maybe don't play too many board games might not like it. So my in-laws might not like it. But I can see, playing a run through with my wife. I think she doesn't like playing board games that are crunchy or have a lot of dice to roll. But I think it's quite accessible in that way.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of learning. I can see, a couple of people who are just friends, just playing a game. It's quite accessible for many different an audience, I would say.
Yeah.
So
I'd
we're
say it's
saying-
surprisingly accessible, to be honest.
Hmm.
Because it doesn't really look like it's going to be accessible. It looks like it's going to be crunchy. But then the mechanic is easy. There's not many different things you actually have to think about, all at once. So it's actually pretty accessible.
What sets off the crunch alarm for you?
Too many rules. Too many different things to
Yeah.
consider all at the same time.
Cross-referencing multiple things
Yeah.
is a sticky thing.
Yeah.
I welcome you to Blackstone.
Yeah. Spreading your rules across 4 different books.
Yeah.
Too
No,
many
okay.
layers of gameplay. So
Yeah.
this has got a nice, simple kind of overlay, and then has like one little layer underneath where you've got the items that then can modify things a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's enough. There's like the basic and then the first layer, and that's fine. Any more, and then it starts getting a bit too complicated, and you start having to think, oh well, if I did that, I could have done this. That might have not been the optimal thing to do.
Yeah, definitely having 2 items, and having you have the items in 2 flavours. There's those that you discard and use, and normally that's giving you health back, or there's those that are permanent, and they're going to be weapons or relics that give you special powers again and again and again, and that's where I think things can get really exciting. If you do land those relics, I think because we're playing with the Kickstarter extra dice and cards, the golden axe. You got the golden axe.
Yeah, that was very good because then you get it to roll another dice, but you do have a little bit of peril because there's a 1 in 6 chance that you might hurt yourself.
Yeah, it's a big axe.
It's a big axe. I might cut my foot off.
Yeah, you did.
I did. Yeah.
You did.
And I died.
That was the game ending, unfortunately.
How many deluxe special edition nice weighty black skulls out of 5 are you going to give it?
Oh, out of 5. I think it's got to be, I think, 4 black skulls.
4?
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. For what?
Generous.
Yeah, for what it is, I think that's exactly. It's not trying to be anything more complicated. So for what it's aiming at, I think it does it really well.
Okay.
I like it. I would certainly give it 4, just because it's. When I picked it up, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to fight to get everyone around this table to play it. I'm going to have to really do the big sell, which I sometimes have to. I had to try and distill the rules down, and even then, it's much, right? It's Eldritch Horror, right?
Yeah, you're bringing Cthulhu games. It's.
I love Eldritch Horror. But this one was just so easy, and it's quite enjoyable. And I could see that we could replay it quite a few times, especially getting some of the expansions in there as well. So yeah, I think it'd have to be 4 out of 5 for me. Helen, how many lovely black dice out of 5?
I think. No, I would say 4 because it needs to be a little bit more whimsy for me.
More whimsy would make it 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the cards.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Well,
I'm going to say 3.5. I would like a tiny bit more crunch.
Oh, controversial.
okay. Do you think that would
For a game that I would personally enjoy more.
Yeah, okay. you want more
Not for
crunch.
necessarily a game that would be for everyone, but it's quite a simplistic game. It's nice, the art style's cool. I can see quite a lot of replayability, but I would appreciate a little bit more.
Okay.
Something to chew on, But that's just my opinion.
There are some additional bits in the expansions that come along, so you can get cards that will give you a buff, or they'll give you a downside. So there'll be kind of something that will debuff you.
Okay.
And some of the later expansions also bring other elements into it as well. So
We're
maybe
just talking
that's-
about the core game now.
Oh, the core game, of course.
Sure.
Yes.
If you want to double your money, you might get an extra half a skull
Yeah.
in points. Sure.
That's- Guy wants more crunch.
Always.
Let's sit down and play Bloodborne, the board game.
Oh no, please.
See, is that too much crunch? But then we play Warhammer, right? So we're kind of well versed
On max crunch, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of crunch. I would say.
Yeah, but I'd only give Warhammer 40,000 like 2.5 at the moment.
We're not reviewing that though.
Oh. We'll do that next week.
Yeah. How long have you got? Hattie.
The core box doesn't come with the nice black skulls, does it?
No.
Oh.
Sorry.
1.
It comes with a pen and
I-
paper. It's the collector's box
Oh.
you need.
Oh,
I
everyone wants to
would-
review.
In that case,
Is it a nice
give
pen?
They're just pencils.
Is it weighty?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're like the
Is
pencils.
it made of crystal?
You know, the pencils, they're just the short pencils you get in better in
I
shops.
like the little
and-
IKEA
Oh.
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, that's right.
Like putting ranges.
Yeah, but they're functional.
I would probably give it a 3.
Mm.
It's fine. There's definitely replayability, but I'm probably not going to pick that over something that makes me giggle a bit more.
Yeah, I get it. It depends what you want out of it, right?
I like a giggle.
I like a giggle.
don't like a lot of crunch, so this one's perfect crunch-wise for me. But I like a bit more whimsy and a bit more fun.
Mm-hmm. It's fair enough.
Are you allowed to give your strong opinions or not?
I've given them. I said
You didn't give a star rating though. A skull rating.
I did.
Did you?
Yes.
4.
You weren't listening.
You gave a 4 as well.
Yeah. Easily give it a 4.
So what did we get? 4, 4, 4, 3.5. 3.
I mean, I can't now thinking about like the not getting the skulls. It does make me want to knock like half
That's
off.
fair.
Those
I
skulls
don't
really
know
did
the
some
whole
good
point.
work.
It's like they did a lot. They carried a lot of
I'm
weight.
going to knock a whole point off. I'm going to
A
get
whole
back
A
down.
whole point.
Going down to 3.
Okay, that's the collector's box.
We do love those skulls.
We do.
10 out of 10 recommend the
I know,
skulls.
right? I know, if only we put them in the core game. And I was going to come on to that. How could you improve upon this game?
More skulls.
Gold skulls.
Gold skulls. There we go. That's the hot take. I think it's been mentioned lots. But I do think like a bit of dark comedy throughout that wouldn't hurt it.
Mhm.
I don't think so. I think that would uplift it a little bit,
Okay.
and maybe a little bit more polish on the artwork.
Yeah.
The guys mentioned that as well. I think that's. Sorry if I've taken that out your talking topic out. Of your
No,
mouth.
it's fine. It was just, well, I joked about that one that I pulled and it was like, there's a ghost, and it's just like,
Like some
when
lines.
the artist had like 6 minutes to go.
I mean, some of the cards are definitely goofy looking, but I think some of that is down to the style in general. It's quite...
Yeah, that's fair.
It's not like super polished artwork.
No, I don't think it intends to be either.
No.
I think I think you can tell that the art has got that style.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's consistent throughout.
Yeah.
I think if you had varying different kind of levels of consistency, where you had kind of some kind of ultra realistic pencil sketches, and then you have kind of some less so.
So you
MS
mean
Paint.
Yeah,
Rogue Trader.
yeah. I mean, well, yeah. Like they used to mix up all the different styles of art in kind of the old, second edition
Yeah.
rule books. Yeah, I don't know. I quite like the art style, but I can see how it would be everyone's cup of tea.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I do like it. I do like it a lot.
Hmm.
But I think just not taking away from how they're doing it, but just maybe a tiny bit more polish.
Okay.
I don't know how that would work though. To be honest.
So we've got some dark comedy. We've got more skulls.
More skulls.
Just
Gold skulls.
gold skulls in the core box. Any other advances on some improvements that could be made?
Don't want to be that guy, but
you are a guy.
I know. Miniatures. Oh, the characters are pretty cool.
No,
you
not
could-
every game needs miniatures.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Would they be used or would they just be there?
Well, but yeah, I mean, I was thinking you could have like miniatures and then make it have a board, like, and you're basically just making it.
And then measure movement out in inches.
How could you make it better? Tiny furniture.
I didn't think that would add
Broadsword.
anything to it, to be honest.
There's no gargoyles.
Gargoyles.
What
There
about
are no
busts
gargoyles.
of every character as a special
busts,
edition?
Yeah.
So you've like connected
But why?
to your character on the desk in front of you.
Meh.
I don't think it needs it.
I don't think it needs
I
it.
just want people to make more good busts.
You
I
want
want to
more
paint
good
them.
busts. You could make
Well-
them yourself.
Yeah, but that's a lot of work. If someone else does it, I can just buy them.
Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for playing Lovely People.
I love to play lovely people.
Lovely people, like an accordion. I hope you find the review helpful. Big thank you to my friends Steve, Hattie, Guy, and also Helen for sitting down, playing a few games, and then giving me their thoughts on the game. We'll be doing more reviews of board games in upcoming episodes. So, thanks for listening, and whatever you are doing today, please just keep it positive.